What is good, Nio family? It's your boy Rey-Jay back with another video, and in this video, we're going to be talking about the one and only Nio. Why I'm extremely bullish for the somewhat near-term and long-term futures for Nio. I'm going to talk about what on earth the latest market is showing involving Evergrande and CPI data. I'm going to talk about what the mainstream media has been saying about Nio quite recently, and then I'm going to end this video by talking about the latest tweets on the Nio's Twitter page and what my price prediction is for Nio for the near-term and long-term futures. Now, before I do get started about this, I do have to mention that I'm not a financial legal taxation expert, so I don't take this as financial legal taxation advice. Everything in this video is solely for entertainment purposes only. And also, if you guys can, please smash that like button if you want to see more videos like this. It not only benefits me, but benefits the entire Nio community as a whole. With all that said and done and out of the way, guys, let's get on with the video. So looking at Nio from the one-day charts, we can see that we had a quite an interesting day. So basically, we started off running all the way up to $42 a share, which I think was very interesting. Then we began to drop. We formed a W-like shape right over here. It almost resembles Wyckoff. Then we began to drop. Right after that, after hitting $41.74, we dropped and dropped and dropped all the way down to $38.84, closing the day at $39.55, down 2.68%. So overall, that's not extremely bad. Like being down 2.68% for Nio is not the worst thing in the world. But we're going to talk about why that happened, what this means for my price prediction, what I think is going to play out. So first off, look at this from a Bollinger standpoint. The Bollingers are basically showing Nio hitting the upper and lower bands quite a bit, but it did touch the lower band quite a bit, especially towards the very end. We closed below the mean price, which is kind of an indicator that Nio could see a little bit more bearish momentum before this thing begins to have its reversal phases. Now, looking at the MACD real quick from the 6-month chart, we can see that if we zoom in, the MACD is still indicating that we're in a bearish cycle. And once again, that's normal. It's nothing to be too concerned about, especially because of external things that are going on. I'm not extremely concerned about this, but I do want you guys to know that we could see a little bit of a continuation of this. Now, does that mean I'm giving up on Nio? Of course not. I'm still very, very bullish considering what this company has in store and why it's just doing insanely awesome things. I'm very bullish for Nio for the somewhat near-term and long-term futures. Like I said, it's just that for the next upcoming days, we could see a little bit more bearish momentum still continuing based off what the MACD is showing. RSI is indicating something very similar as well. Right now, if I zoom in, RSI is at 43.52, which is still a little bit low, not extremely high strength, but overall, I still have the same conviction in Nio. I still think we're going to see a big run towards the very end of this year. It's just going to take a little bit of time because big things are going to need a little bit of time for this company. The situation for the overall market is not great. So I want to remind you guys something, and there are two big things that came out today, or at least quite recently, that you guys should pay attention to. First off, Evergrande is set to avoid default after paying overdue interest. And basically, China's Evergrande group is looking to avert another default on its biggest test since the property developer's debt crisis. They're basically trying to default once again, at least they're trying to advert from it, and that in my eyes did lead to a little bit of a downward trend for the overall market. It's affected many bonds, especially at the end of the day, this has had an effect on the S&P. If you look at the S&P and the Nasdaq, everything is kind of in the red right now. The Dow Jones was also, I think, in the red, but Nio kind of took a hit because of that, but it wasn't too bad in my opinion. It's also accompanied by the fact that CPI data is showing that over the past 12 months from today, or at least from October, there was a rise of 6.2%, which is a little bit concerning, but not too bad right now. This isn't the worst scenario possible, but overall, this did have quite a bit of an effect on Nio. It's just that it isn't that bad because Nio has some support that it did build up as it was going up for the last few days. Now, let me just go over what the news in the Twitter page is showing for Nio before I give you guys my price prediction. So right now, the Motley Fool stated that Neo's Q3 loss beats expectations, but probably Q4 won't. And once again, there is some truth behind this considering what happened in October to Nio. And even though that did happen, I want you guys to know that Nio had a really good third quarter, in my opinion, because there were many obstacles in their way. The chip shortage does make it difficult for Nio to produce more and more cars. I'm totally well aware of that, and it's something that it has not been totally overcome yet. But at the end of the day, they still had pretty good third quarterly results. I mean, right here it states that they delivered 24,439 vehicles in the third quarter, and once again, they did even better than their second quarter and even first quarters. So the ET7 sedan is showing lots of potential too. And on top of that, Nio has more and more and more potential to expand even more because of this. And we're very well aware of what's going to happen. This article right over here states that Chinese EV startup Nio's journey. I just clicked away, sorry. But it states that Chinese EV company Nio's journey is starting to the west, and Nio, the Chinese electric vehicle startup listed on the New York Stock Exchange, will be in at least 6 European markets by 2022. Basically, Nio is expanding its orders for its electric SUVs. It's shipping small batches to Norway. We're talking about Norway, maybe even Denmark as well, not to mention Germany. So by next year, Nio should be in 6 other countries. They're expanding their business, and they may even be in the United Kingdom very, very soon. So this is why, guys, I'm still very bullish for Nio. Because think about what's going to happen. And I'm not going to go over every detail in the article, but I'm just putting it out there. What's going to happen when they expand to the United Kingdom and Germany? Like they actually do it. What's going to happen? Because we know that it's most likely going to start by 2022. Imagine what that's going to do to the share price. Imagine all these catalysts. Just think about that. I think it's going to be absolutely huge. I still see insane potential in this company. And I don't think that, in my opinion, not financial advice, but I do think this thing's a little bit undervalued. So the Motley Fool did actually talk about what happened today as well. They talked about the fact that Nio had a really good Q3 earnings report, but there were many things that did end up causing it to drop a little bit. They didn't mention Evergrande, which I do think played a big role, but then they are talking about there are many, many good catalysts out there, such as Nio expanding to Norway, Europe, Germany, their ET7 being highly anticipated as a luxury sedan for 2022. So I do think that 2022 is going to be an absolutely awesome year for Nio. We're just getting ready for it. So be prepared, guys. That's when I think Nio is going to really, really, really take off. On their Twitter page, they basically talked about from fresh to flash, feel free reign. The feel free reign like never before with Nio EC6. So right over here, you can see how beautiful this car is. They did mention this in their Twitter page. Once again, autonomous technology, it's coming. It's very luxurious. It's very, very awesome. The last thing I want to talk about is this right over here. We can see their Q3 earnings reports, and that's the reason why I didn't show you this yet. I wanted to save it to the very end, the best for last. But right here, you could see that 2021 Q3 right here, it's still better than Q2. Where my cursor is, this is 2021 Q2, right? We're doing way better right now, and we may do better in Q4, but it may not be 100% guaranteed because of what happened in October. We all know about that. But once again, the chip shortage is still affecting Nio, but it's still improving. I definitely think that things are going to improve like crazy. We can see that the cash balance has been improving every single year, despite their expenses somewhat going up, but they're continuing to double down on R&D and services. So which shows that they're just trying to improve their customer service and improve their business model. So once again, absolutely killing it. We can see the revenue is just expanding year after year after year. And in Q3, we saw another a massive amount of growth relative to before. So I'm just putting it out there that this company is still killing it. It has insane potential, and this is just the beginning. With that said and done, guys, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw this thing drop just a little bit more because of what ended up playing out. But I wouldn't also be surprised if this continues because of all the FUD that's out there. Now, is this the end for Nio? No. We could see a bit of a pullback. It might close a little bit lower, but eventually I believe it's going to continue to stair step its way up. Now, when is it going to do that? And when do I think it's going to happen? I do think by December 18th, leading up to the Nio day, that's going to cause Nio to go absolutely parabolic. We're going to see a run up possibly all the way up to the 50s. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw that. And after Nio day, there might be a reaction that would bring Nio probably to around the $56 range, in my opinion. If I bring up the 6-month chart, you could totally see how Nio could hit that number. Definitely possible. Definitely not, extremely, extremely unrealistic. I do see 56 plus coming very soon for Nio. Now, I can't guarantee anything, but I'm just putting it out there as my opinion, what I think is going to play out. And there are many catalysts for this company. With that said and done, guys, thank you so much for listening. Nio has insane potential. I'm very, very excited for what's about to come out for this company. Be patient and do not let the media fool you. Nio has insane potential. Give it the time it needs, and this thing is going to take off. Thank you, and peace out.